Years ago, the Detroit Pistons were synonymous with toughness, defense, and championships. From the Bad Boys era in the 1980s to the 2004 championship led by Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace, the Pistons represented one of the NBA's most respected franchises. But now, the team has fallen into one of the darkest chapters in professional basketball history. With a streak of 28 consecutive losses and counting, the Pistons are on track to become the worst single-season team in NBA history. How is it possible that a team with so much talent, a decorated coach, and multiple lottery picks has reached this point? The 2023-24 season has been a complete nightmare for the Pistons. With 28 consecutive losses, they've set a new NBA record for the most losses in a single season. What's even more incredible is that, on paper, this team shouldn't be this bad. The Pistons have 6 players averaging double figures in scoring, more than several top-tier teams like the Boston Celtics. Yet, the losses keep piling up. One of the most heartbreaking examples was their 27th consecutive loss, where Cade Cunningham scored 42 points. It was his 10th game with 30 or more points this season, but the most concerning fact is that all those games ended in defeat. No other player in NBA history has had such a long streak of 30-point games without a single win. One of the main issues plaguing the Pistons this season has been their inability to score from the perimeter. In an NBA era dominated by three-point shooting, the Pistons rank dead last in three-point attempts, and to make matters worse, they're also the worst in shooting percentage. Cade Cunningham, the first overall pick in the 2021 draft, and the player expected to be the team's star, has been part of the problem. His three-point shooting percentage sits at a concerning 31%, placing him among the league's worst shooters. But the problem goes beyond Cade. The team as a whole lacks reliable shooters. This allows defenses to focus heavily on Cunningham, collapsing into the paint and limiting his options. Opponents have no fear of leaving Pistons players open on the perimeter because they simply can't punish them with three-point shots. Although Cade is a player with tremendous potential, his development is being hindered by the lack of floor-spacing teammates around him. The hiring of Monty Williams as head coach brought a lot of expectations. Williams was celebrated for leading the Phoenix Suns to the NBA Finals in 2021 and winning the Coach of the Year award in 2022. However, his tenure in Detroit has been drastically different. Despite being the highest-paid coach in the league, his decisions regarding rotations have been heavily criticized. One of Monty Williams' most repeated mistakes has been his insistence on playing 2 big men on the court at the same time, creating both defensive and offensive mismatches. This has forced players like Isaiah Stewart, a natural rebounder and defender, to play out of position, significantly reducing his impact on games. Stewart, known for his ability to grab offensive rebounds, has seen his production drop as he's being deployed outside the paint to compensate for the team's lack of shooting. Additionally, Williams' most common lineups often feature 4 non-shooters, further limiting the team's offensive options. This has led to situations where the Pistons lack a clear identity on the court, with no effective system or well-defined player hierarchy. The Pistons' general manager, Troy Weaver, has also been a key figure in the team's collapse. Since taking the position in 2020, Weaver has drafted several players who, on paper, should have helped turn the franchise around. These include Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and Ausar Thompson. However, none of these players have emerged as the savior the team desperately needs. The issue lies in the fact that many of these players share a common flaw. None are reliable shooters. In a pace-and-space era, where three-point shooting is critical for success, Weaver has built a roster of guards who struggle to score from the perimeter. This has resulted in an unbalanced team that struggles to score and defend within the modern NBA system. A glaring example is Killian Hayes, who has been one of the league's worst shooters since his debut. Despite being selected as a promising draft pick, his lack of shooting ability has been a major hindrance for the team, and he remains one of the lowest-performing players in the NBA. Adding to this, injuries have compounded the Pistons' struggles. Cade Cunningham missed almost the entire 2022-23 season due to injury, delaying his development. In the current season, the Pistons also had to start without their only reliable shooter, Bojan Bogdanovic, who missed the first few months of competition. Even when Bogdanovic returned, the bad luck persisted, as Jalen Duren, one of the team's few promising big men, suffered an injury. These absences have further complicated the team's efforts, leaving Monty Williams without the necessary pieces to develop a competitive offensive system. The most concerning aspect of the Detroit Pistons situation is that their future doesn't appear promising. Unlike other rebuilding teams, such as the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Houston Rockets, the Pistons lack valuable draft assets to build their future. Worst of all, they don't own their own first-round pick in the 2024 draft. This means that even if they finish with the worst record in NBA history, they won't have the chance to select the next great talent in the draft lottery. The team seems trapped in an endless cycle of losing, and with a core group of players that has yet to prove they can turn things around, the rebuilding process could take many more years. With 28 consecutive losses and no clear path to improvement, the Pistons are on the verge of setting new negative records. At this pace, they are on track to become not just the worst team of this season, but possibly the worst team in NBA history. The collapse of the Detroit Pistons is one of the most dramatic in recent NBA history. With issues in every aspect of the game, from shooting to rotations to player management, the team faces an uncertain future. Despite having promising young players and a decorated coach, the lack of a clear direction and future assets could condemn the Pistons to more years of frustration and defeats. Now that you've watched the video, will the Detroit Pistons go down as the worst team in NBA history? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your opinion. And remember, if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe.